Hitori Gotoh is a shy girl who grew up having trouble making friends. Every day in middle school she goes home after school and speaks to nobody. She wants to end her introverted life and is inspired when she watches a band being interviewed, because she thinks if she can be in a band she will make lots of friends. She borrows her father's guitar and soon practices 6 hours a day. 3 years later, Hitori is a master of the guitar, but she still doesn't have any friends. She could not find any band members and she never played for anyone else in middle school. Although Hitori doesn't have a band, she uploads her covers to the internet where she has become popular under the name Guitar Hero. One night, inspired by comments online, she dresses like a rocker chick to make friends. At school, although she looks like a musician, nobody ends up talking to her. After school, she sits in a playground and a girl named Nijika Ajichi asks her to fill in for a missing guitarist in her band. She doesn't take no for an answer and Hitori feels self-conscious walking with her. They meet the band at a club called Starry, and Hitori meets the bass player Ryo Yamada. They practice playing, but they discover that although Hitori is a good guitarist, she is terrible at playing with others in a band because she can't keep time well with other players. An embarrassed Hitori hides in a box and the other band members try to coax her out to play. They talk about the cover artist Guitar Hero and unintentionally compliment Hitori. Inspired by their words, Hitori is terrified to play in front of an audience, so they give her a box to play in. Hitori also finds out the band is named Kesoku Band. They play on stage and Hitori is happy to play in a band for the first time but is embarrassed to play from inside a box. She tells them she will be courageous in the future, but goes home because today was too much social activity. Hitori gets a line message asking the rest of the band members to meet up. She is excited to get a message that isn't from her parents, but is too nervous to knock on the door of the meetup and ends up loitering outside. Nijika asks the other band members to talk about their lives so they can grow closer. She thinks that Ryo might be lonely like her, but finds out that the blue-haired girl is just a loner and doesn't have social anxiety. They next cover their favorite music, but Hitori discovers that her interests don't align with the other girls. They also talk about finding a new vocalist, since the band lost a singer and a guitarist. Nijika then talks about the quota for the band, and that the band needs to bring in a large audience or they will have to pay the club for performing on stage. To avoid having to work for a part-time job, Hitori offers her piggy bank of saved funds, as her anxiety can't handle interacting with customers. But Hitori accidentally agrees to work with the other girls. The next day is their first day of work, so Hitori tries to get a cold by taking a bath with ice cubes and then running a fan all night. But Hitori is too healthy and she doesn't get sick. She goes to the Starry Club to work and meets the manager Seika Ajichi, who is the older sister of Nijika. Seika recognizes her as the guitarist in the box and gives her the nickname the Masked Mango. Nijika shows Hitori how to work the drinks counter at the club. But when customers come into the club, Hitori's confidence quickly evaporates. Hitori is too scared, so she serves customers by hiding behind the counter. Nijika encourages Hitori because she wants her guitarist to enjoy the club. And when the band Alexandism performs, Hitori is amazed to see the band and the customers enjoying themselves. Hitori finds the courage to serve a customer face to face and grows slightly more confident. The next day, her sister Futari asks if Hitori wants to stay home, but Hitori is inspired to go to school because she has finally joined a band. However, at school she still has nobody to talk with and struggles to communicate with her classmates. She eats lunch at a quiet place but overhears girls talking about a singer at their school named Akuyo Akuyo. Hitori wants to try to recruit Akuyo for the band, but when she goes to Akuyo's classroom she ends up beatboxing and then runs away. Hitori retreats to her quiet place and sadly plays her guitar, and discovers that Akuyo followed her and was listening. Hitori asks if Akuyo can join her band, but Akuyo reveals that she had quit a previous band because although she can sing, she doesn't actually know how to play the guitar. Since Hitori is self-taught, Akuyo asks if the pink-haired girl can teach her how to play the guitar. After school, they start to walk to the club, but Hitori realizes that Akuyo was actually the guitarist who ran away from the band. The rest of the band discover that Akuyo left because she didn't know how to play guitar, and Ryo had actually been praying for her since she thought Akuyo was dead. Akuyo agrees to rejoin the band, and Hitori is impressed with the extroverted Akuyo. Hitori is too nervous, so she hides in a box again and struggles to teach Akuyo how to make drinks. When asked why she joined a band, Hitori is too embarrassed to say the real reason is to make friends, so she says she wants world peace. Akuyo revealed she joined because she wanted to get close to Ryo, who she admires very much. At the end of the day, Akuyo tells Hitori she can't join the band because she's too embarrassed after leaving once already. But Hitori saw that Akuyo had calluses on her hand, meaning she was practicing the guitar a lot to try to continue to play. Ryo and Nijika encourage Akuyo to stay in the band and they will support her. They later find out the entire time Akuyo was practicing the bass instead of the guitar after seeing the bass she bought with her allowance. Hitori starts to teach Akuyo how to play the guitar, but Akuyo has trouble playing the guitar and singing at the same time, and she wonders if she can just sing for the band. They have a band meeting to discuss how to make the group feel more like a band, and they decide to wear cheap cable ties to match the name of their band. Ryo suggests a once-a-year party for the band, and Akuyo will run the social media for the band. Hitori is tasked with writing lyrics to their original song, but she struggles to come up with lyrics. She tries to think like Akuyo and write happy lyrics for a happy summer-like song, but even inside her cupboard she struggles. The next day she meets the rest of the band to take photos with them around town, so they have photos for their social media as well as their covers. Hitori is overwhelmed to take photos with other people instead of just school photos. They decide to take a picture of them jumping together. Later she meets Ryo at a cafe for help writing lyrics, but she struggles to communicate with the quiet girl. Ryo reviews her work and asks if Hitori is happy with her lyrics. She reveals that in the past she was in a band that sold out and lost passion for their music, and therefore Hitori should write lyrics that she wants to write rather than what she thinks others want. After spending all night writing, Hitori shows the rest of the band the lyrics of their original song, which is more true to her sad personality. Hitori is excited to get her first paycheck, but she can't celebrate since all the money has to go to the band to pay for the venue. Ryo also reveals she finished writing the melody after reading the lyrics of their original song. However, Seika refuses to let them perform at Starry because the band needs to audition, and she advises them to stick to music as a hobby. The group has 1 week to prepare for an audition, and Akuyo is confused when the other members of the band don't think that Hitori's guitar playing is very strong. At school, Akuyo encourages Hitori and asks the girl to stick with them until the audition. At practice, the girls except Nijika dress up to look more like a band with an iconic hairstyle, and the blonde-haired girl tells them to change and go to practice. Hitori thinks melancholically about the growth of the band and starts to feel demoralized, which Nijika notices. That night, Nijika apologizes to Hitori because she is worried that she dragged Hitori into the band against her will. Nijika hopes to one day share her reason for starting a band, but she won't tell Hitori yet. Hitori thinks about the reason she wants to continue playing in a band, and at the audition the next day she decides it's because she has other people who rely on her, and that her motivation is to make the other band members' dream come true. Inspired to give it her all, Hitori plays significantly better in the audition. Seika criticizes their playing, but ultimately she tells them they passed the audition. Hitori is so happy she throws up, and Nijika and Ryo remark that Hitori seems to be much better at the guitar than they thought. Seika has seen Hitori's true talent and tries to give her subtle encouragement, but Hitori just becomes scared. The band discusses their quota for their concert, and each member needs to bring 5 people. Hitori despairs because she only has her father, mother, sister, and dog, which is only 4 people, and she needs to find one more person. She later is horrified to discover that her family won't be bringing her little sister Futari and their dog Jim. Hitori is horrified. She has to find 3 more, and she makes hand-drawn flyers to pass out but is too scared to put them up. She also finds out that the other band members have found people to bring. Suddenly she sees a collapsed girl named Hiroi who asks Hitori for help getting hangover medication, water, and porridge. Hitori helps the other girl by buying her everything she needs, and she watches as the girl drinks tons of cheap sake and mistakes her for a statue. When Hiroi sees the guitar, Hitori is too embarrassed and lies about not playing the guitar. Hiroi is actually a bassist who drank too much after a concert after party, and is the kind of person to use drinking to stop worrying about adult problems. Hiroi sees Hitori's flyers and decides they should play a street concert together. Meanwhile, the rest of the band is practicing, and Akuyo tells the other girls that at school she doesn't usually see Hitori with others, and they wonder if Hitori is a loner at school. At the street concert, Hiroi gives Hitori the advice that the audience in front of her aren't her enemies, which inspires the pink-haired girl to do her first street concert. She impresses the audience and manages to sell a few tickets to the concert. That night, Hiroi buys her last ticket, but Hitori has to buy her train ticket because she is broke. Before the concert, Nijika and Akuyo go to Hitori's house to design t-shirts for the band, but they are surprised to see Hitori celebrating their arrival. Hitori prepared lots of decorations for the meeting together, but the rest of the group are confused by all the photos of the band in her room. While the band are creating designs, Hitori's family is surprised to see that her friends aren't imaginary. Her parents were worried that the photos of the band were photoshopped, and that Hitori practiced playing Twister with herself in case they wanted to play. After playing games, they show off different shirt designs. Ryo's designs are just food on clothes, and Hitori's design is very edgy. The girls see Hitori wearing something other than a tracksuit, and the pink-haired girl dissolves into dust from embarrassment after her bangs are lifted. Finally, they decide on Nijika's simple design for the shirts, but they become worried when they hear a typhoon will arrive near the date of the concert. Their worry becomes reality as a typhoon hits the city the day they are to perform, and the girls are disappointed that many of their friends and family can't make it. However, Hiroi and two girls from the street concert arrive at the Starry Club to see Hitori play. The band is disappointed that there is such a small audience for their first official concert as a band. However, since they are unknown, many of the audience members don't listen to them, and Hitori senses the group is playing worse than they usually do and that people are losing interest. Hitori refuses to let the concert fail, so she starts to play an inspiring guitar solo that revives the band, and they receive some cheers. Seika and Hiroi later take the group out for dinner, and Hiroi talks about life as a rock musician. Although Hitori is exhausted, she is happy to be eating with her friends, and Seika asks them to work hard to afford their next quota for another concert. Hitori accidentally overhears two salarymen complaining about life, and she becomes depressed about growing up after high school and possibly failing at life by becoming a shut-in. At dinner, they also find out from Hiroi that Seika used to be in a band herself, but she gave up playing a long time ago. Hitori sees that Nijika is missing and finds her outside, where she asks Hitori if she is actually the cover artist Guitar Hero. Hitori confesses and apologizes for hiding her identity, but Nijika is happy to have her. She reveals that her dream is to make the club Starry popular, because her sister Seika started the club after their parents died to help support Nijika and her love for music. Hitori promises to work hard to make their band popular. Summer arrives and Hitori wants to hang out with the other band members, but she realizes that they don't spend time with each other outside of work in the band. She tries to invite the other girls to activities, but is too embarrassed to do it. However, the entire summer break the band doesn't hang out together, and the girls realize that nobody had invited Hitori to do anything over the summer as the rest of the girls had other responsibilities. Nijika suggests they all go to the beach together as a band, but Hitori dies from embarrassment when they meet some beach bros. They eat food together and take selfies, and then Akuyo persuades them to climb up a nearby mountain. Hitori sees an escalator, and they decide to pay to go up. At the top they take a photo, and Hitori is attacked by birds who sense her fear. They pray for success for the band at a shrine, but Hitori actually prayed to turn back time to the beginning of summer. At school, Hitori worries about the upcoming school festival and what she might have to do. But she hears that bands can apply to play at the festival, and Hitori passes out, almost submitting the band to perform at the festival. At the infirmary, Hitori decides not to submit the application because she is too scared of being rejected by her classmate. Hitori goes to the club to talk to Seika and Hiroi, but the other band members overhear the opportunity to play and are interested in the opportunity. However, Ryo and the rest of the band members let Hitori decide if they should play, as they don't want to make her worried about playing in front of so many people. Hitori ultimately decides she is too scared to play, but is horrified to find out that Akuyo found the application in the trash and accidentally submitted the band to play. The band tries to comfort her, and Hiroi arrives to give them encouragement, revealing that her band is pretty successful, but she plays while drunk, so all her money goes to fixing the equipment she breaks. Seika hears about the debts Ryo and Hiroi have to Hitori and forces them to pay the girl back. Hiroi takes them to a concert her band Sick Hack is holding and introduces her bandmates Eliza and Shima. Hitori listens to Sick Hack playing psychedelic rock and finds the unity and sound of the band amazing. After the concert, Hiroi tells her that when she was in high school she was a misfit loner and had anxiety issues. She tells Hitori to do her best and then punches the wall. That night, Akuyo apologizes to Hitori for turning in the application, but Hitori tells her that she is secretly grateful for the opportunity, and Akuyo swears that she will make the concert a success. It's the day of the cultural festival, but Hitori seems to have vanished. They discover she was working at the Maid Cafe, and then ran out of the cafe. They decide to look for her somewhere dark and depressing. Meanwhile, Hitori discovers that she hasn't posted anything to her Guitar Hero channel in a while, and she is losing subscribers. Her bandmates find her and bring her back to the festival, where they have fun playing festival games together. Eventually, she has to go back to work at the Maid Cafe, and she barely survives holding a sign. The band compliments her maid outfit, and Ryo jokes about using her looks to promote the band in music videos. Later, the band decides to help Hitori's class and work in the Maid Cafe with her, where they help the cafe make lots of sales. The girls go to practice before they perform, and Hitori fantasizes of a music producer at the festival and discovering the band. Nijika encourages the band before they perform, and is impressed at Hitori's growth from having to perform from inside a box months ago. Hitori starts to have nerves on stage, but she sees her family, her fans, her class, and Seika with Hiroi. They play their original song and receive positive reception from the crowd. Akuyo introduces the band members as their MC, and they move on to their second song. However, Hitori starts to have equipment trouble when her E string and peg breaks right before her solo. Since she doesn't have time to change out the string, she plays bottleneck by using a cup, saving the solo, and the band receives many cheers. Hitori sees the audience for the first time and is amazed, but is put on the spot by Ikuo. But in her embarrassment, Hitori jumps into the crowd and lands on her face, ending the concert. At the infirmary, Ikuo watches over her and promises to do everything she can to support Hitori. And Hitori hears that she is now known as the crazy rocker chick who dove off the stage. At home, Hitori apologizes for breaking her father's guitar, but her parents give her money for a replacement and encourage her to keep playing. They also give her money that she got from her channel to buy a new guitar, and it's enough that she can quit her job. However, Hitori is too embarrassed to quit in front of the manager. The band join Hitori to help her buy a new guitar, and at the music store, Ryo impresses by playing a bass at the store. Nijika feels left out because she's the drummer, and Hitori eyes an expensive guitar. After some embarrassment, she manages to buy it. Walking home with her band, Hitori feels happy, and that night her family watches her marvel over her new guitar. And this is all for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.